Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
And we are live again. Today, December 12th, 2023. Good evening, April. How are you doing?
I'm great, Brother Edward. How are you?
Good. I'm glad I'm not muted. I thought I was muted there for a while. And welcome to our audience. Glad you could be with us. We're always having important topics for discussion and for the well-being of our communities. And again, this is one of those topics that we just had to make the community aware of, and none other than vaping. Okay, that's the e-cigarette. Let me just start off with some statistics, April. 20% of the U.S. population in general, in Gen Z, they call them, was born between 1997 and 2012, is exposed to the largest growth in illegal flavored e-cigarettes, according to the CDC. So having said that, we want to tackle the subject and have someone to help us take us further. First, we thought it was very good to get an update on if those of you who don't know about there's a new task force that's been generated by the Conway City Council here in Conway, and that on that task force is the task force of the Whittemore Historical Society, headed by Reverend Cheryl Moore Adamson. And we'd like for her to give us a good update on that, because it's going to impact all of us eventually. And so she's going to get with her, April, to see if we can't start off with her first, and then we'll go into our vaping. So what do you think? Let's do it.
I think let's get to it.
There she is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
All right. Reverend Adamson, how are you?
I am fine. Praise the Lord. My mantra right now is all is well, and all manner of things, all shall be well. That's from Teresa of Avila. I have to have a word for myself, and that's the word for now.
All right. Well, let's just get into it, because I'm sure the audience are anxious to know what the good status is. And hey, it's on you.
All right, then the Whittemore Task Force is what this ad hoc committee is called, and it was initiated by Mayor Barbara Blaine Bellamy a couple of months ago. We have met on 4 occasions, and we will continue to meet until we're able to formulate a plan that would meet our community's needs. The persons who are serving on that task force, who were put together by the Conway City Council, are Janet Lawrence Patton, who's representing the Whittemore Alumni Association, Jenny Kentz, who is a community member at large. She's a concerned citizen. Elaine Gore of the Horry County Seniors, okay. Mr. Lee Belcher, who is a banker and on the Coastal Carolina University's board of directors, and also on a Father's Place board of directors. Ms. Deborah Butler is representing the Smith Jones Community Center. Okay. Councilwoman Amanda Butler, Councilwoman Beth Helms, George Brown of the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society, Judge Kay Hearn, former member of the South Carolina Supreme Court, who is a citizen of Conway, who is now retired, and attorney Richard Lovelace, who is a real estate attorney in Conway. We've been called together to put our heads in our experience and to do some research to see what can be done, first of all, about the 10-acre site of the Whittemore Elementary School that formerly was the site of the historic Whittemore Elementary School, an equalization school in our community that we know, much to our chagrin, was burned on March the 7th, I think it was March 7th or 9th. So that property is vacant, is owned by the city. The RFP that was once issued for redevelopment has been rescinded by the city council. So that is why there's this now a conversation between the city and the interested parties to see what we can come up with to put on that site. And then secondarily, they want us to consider what would happen if not only we had the Whittemore Elementary School site, but also if we were to be given the Whittemore Park Middle School by the school district.
Okay.
So that's where we are now. A couple of things that I certainly want people to be aware of. Number one is that the meetings that we have are open to the public. People can come to the city council chambers. There is a conference room there, and the public is welcome. Also, these meetings are televised on YouTube, and people can watch. And finally, of course, we want to give the date of the next meeting, which is January the 10th, Wednesday, January 10th at 5 p.m. And you need to be there before 5 because that is after work hours and the doors close at 5. So we want to invite people to come to be able to express their views about what is being presented. And of course, we want people to join the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society. And our membership is open now till December 31st. We're trying to offer opportunities for people to join at $50 for an annual donation. And we welcome people coming in and joining with us.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that update. Just got one question. Are there any new endeavors taking place with the society that this community should know about?
Well, you will be hearing plans. One of the major things that we would like to be engaged in this year is forming stronger bonds with other community groups. Right. So we are looking forward to being able to work. Well, of course, we're coming to the Whittemore dance. That's what we call it, right, Ms. April? We coming to the Whittemore dance. We go
for lack of a better word.
For lack of a better word. To the gala. We have a table, and we will be there because we support the mission of the Whittemore Alumni Association. We want to be able to support in January our community's Martin Luther King Day celebration. And right now, Smith Jones Community Center and the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society is in talks with the Recreation Department of the City of Conway regarding Juneteenth, because we really want to ensure that people learn the historical significance of Juneteenth. And of course, we support all of the endeavors of the World Community Magazine and the excellent display that they're going to have at the Whittemore Alumni Association's dance. So our major thrust in the coming year will be collaboration with all of the community organizations.
Fantastic. Great. Just wanted to make a small correction there for our audience. And thanks for saying about the display, Cheryl. That will actually be at about a block away. I mean, it's walking distance. Will be at the Staybridge Hotel. It's a room that we've garnered there that we can put on a huge display. Okay, including videos and some interesting stuff on people, something you've never seen before. But every day we're continuing to find new stuff. I mean, people are communicating with us and saying that they got this, they got that. So anyway,
and it's from 10 to 2, right? 10 a.m.
Right, 10 to 2, and it's free. Okay, it's free.
free.
Just come on down. Okay, just walk on in. You can see all the witnesses. We call it World Community Magazine Vintage Room. That's what it's going to be displayed as.
Well, excellent. Well, we're excited about everything that all of the community groups have been doing to uplift our community and the people in it. And we want to be a partner.
I can't say enough about that Whittemore Alumni Association for the job that they did. So, I'm telling you, you can't find a ticket. Okay,
Hey, that's how we want it, right?
They can't. You can't find a ticket for that, Gail. So I'm
well, we got our table. The Whittemore Race Path Historical Society has its table, and we will be there.
Right, she's not saying anything, but she was part of that. Okay, right there beside you, Cheryl,
Miss Turner Davis.
Yeah.
I got to get used to that, Miss Davis.
It was a great team effort. We're very pleased and satisfied, and we can't wait to see Reverend Adamson in her purple and gold glory. I'm sure she's going to be stepping real high, looking real fancy.
Hey, look, y'all don't want me to pull out that real gold I got. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, hey, sounds like a challenge to me. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. It's going to be a beautiful time.
I love that purple and gold. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for allowing me this time. Yeah. And again, if anyone has any questions, my number is emblazoned in the heavens, 843-333-1911. And we certainly want you to go to the WhittemoreHistorical.org website. There you can pay your membership dues and learn about our upcoming events.
Good, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reverend Adamson, and my regards to Dr. Adamson.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And my regards to your husband, Ms. Davis. I hadn't met him yet.
Thank you. You'll see him at the gala.
All right. Well,
he's a great guy. He's a really great guy. He's a great person.
Well, we expected no less, right?
Yeah, no less.
No less. And you know your lovely bride is one of my favorites in the world. So,
absolutely.
All right. All right. Good night now.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Well, Brother Edward, it sounds like, they are still working at it, and as with anything, it takes time to develop a really strong plan, especially something that needs to be, strategic in nature for the good of the entire community, and especially to serve the major purposes that the Whittemore Race Path Historic Society has been fighting for all of these years and months, and whatnot. So, great job on behalf of all who are involved with that particular endeavor, and Reverend Adamson is leading the charge, and so the task force has their hand full. I think it's great because I like seeing. I saw maybe the first meeting, and it was live streamed. And my thought was, I'm glad that there's diversity at the table, because sometimes we're not at the table when things are happening. So it's good to have that representation. And I'm sure that the end result is going to be something that everyone can be proud of. So, kudos to the Whittemore Race Path Historic Society for just, fighting the good fight, staying the course. Yeah, staying the course.
That society is here to stay for the next generation and the next generation. And
it needs to be. I mean, there's so much that can be done with, the history, things that no longer exist are still historic in nature. I think people forget just because there's not a building standing or, a person alive to tell it, the way it should be told, it does not mean that it can't be conveyed and communicated with the proper dignity and respect that's due. And there's so many stories, so many just landmarks. I mean, even if, for example, where the Whittemore Elementary School once stood, the edifice or the building is not there anymore, but you can still visit that ground and, feel the significance of the historic nature of things and the environment around it, the community around it. And, I'm sure those things will be captured in your vintage room, where even if you're showing pictures that are in close proximity, you could say, in the Whittemore Elementary School once stood just 100 yards from there, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Right, absolutely.
So there's always going to be a way to tell the story, and if we don't tell it and if we don't preserve it, then it will surely fade to black. So that's great. And one of the things that we're trying to do, I'll just say this little tidbit regarding the Whittemore Alumni Association. One of the products, or I guess you could say keepsake pieces that we will have available that night at the gala and beyond, is a souvenir calendar. And so we're asking that if anyone has any photos, doesn't have to be a lot, but if you have a particular photo that you would like to share with the Alumni Association, just send us a really good high-res scan of it, and we will drop it into the calendar as space permits. But the idea is to create a calendar that, for one, is useful, is practical, is something you can pick up and use all year, so you're constantly being exposed to the history and you're seeing it, versus a booklet that you might read for a couple of times or whatever and then put it down as a coffee table piece. But this calendar is something that will live with you the entire year. And it's going to showcase the history of the Alumni Association, photos that have been submitted to us by Whittemore alums. And I mean, there's some fantastic photos. I'm like, wow, I wish I knew who these people were in these photos.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure I've heard their names before. You never know. Some of them might be my people, and I don't even know.
There's no question about that. So,
yeah. And so, and you'll have a calendar piece or whatever, and it's just going to get better. I mean, this is our first time out the gate trying something like this and creating something like this. And the idea is that, next year when we have more time, and, for those who will be working on it, we can incorporate some, key dates, important dates on the calendar. So I know Reverend Adamson is listening. If there are some key dates that you would like for us to put into the calendar blocks, send them my way, and I'll make sure that it gets into the calendars. We're producing it. I'm working with Eugene Bellamy Jr., who is one of the legacy members of Whittemore Alumni Association, and I, a legacy member. We are working on the calendar piece, and just asking that we get submissions so that we can make it really, really nice and hopefully grow it over time. But nonetheless, thank you so much and for joining us, Reverend Adamson. And so, Brother Edward, we have special guest tonight, Marilyn Hemingway, who is pretty much a legend in her own right. Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce, community activist, straight no chaser. If you encounter Marilyn, you better be ready for whatever it is. Whatever it is, you think you're going to talk to Marilyn about. I'm sure she knows 1,000 times more than you do, and if she does it, she will figure it out. But the main thing that she's attempting to do with her endeavors in the community is to make sure that Horry, Georgetown, surrounding counties, and beyond are educated on more than just business and commerce, but everything that impacts the Gullah Geechee corridor, everything that impacts education, anything that impacts the environment. I mean, she has it all covered, and with her umbrella of organizations. And so she sent some information out, as she always does, months ago, and the topic was illegal and unrestricted e-cigarettes, or as we call them, vapes.
Right.
And so I read the information. I wanted to attend the webinar, and I think it conflicted with my schedule, but nonetheless, I felt that it was a compelling topic, mainly because it, as you mentioned that statistic earlier in the broadcast, when you think about that Generation Z, there's so many, age monikers and things like that, but Gen Z, anyone who was born between 1997 and 2012 is considered Gen Z. So at this point, you're talking about what, I guess at this point we're 2023.
Yeah.
So 11-year-olds to about 26, 28, 29,
26, yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
And so, this population, which is 20% of the U.S. population, is being exposed to some very interesting and appealing products, but for all the wrong reasons. And so she's going to share with us tonight what she knows about what's happening, information from the CDC, why it's important for us as a community to be educated on the growth in illegal and unregulated, I said unrestricted earlier, but it's unregulated disposable e-cigarettes, especially with our young people, because they think it's, it's trendy, it's fashionable, and they're not processing it as this is something that is harmful to my body. They're thinking it's something that is just, trendy to do, and they don't understand the chemicals and things that are involved with this.
They're looking for a substitute. Okay, they've heard.
Yeah, when it comes to the young adult population, looking for a substitute. And so, but these things are, they can be very dangerous. And so Marilyn's going to be with us tonight. I'm getting ready to bring her onto the screen. So Miss Marilyn Hemingway, how are you this evening? You're on mute, just to remind you. You're on mute.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, there you are. Yes.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
I do. And but I'm getting ready. I'm winding down for the year, getting ready to go on vacation. So this week is packed and tight, but it's all okay because I enjoy what I do. And thank you for the wonderful introduction. What can I say? But thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I love my community. Yeah, I love my community, and I have a skill set that I've been fortunate to have cultivated, and my family has supported, and I just love doing what I do. So it's good to be here, and thank you very much. You talked about illegal and disposable vaping products. I never thought I would actually be discussing this particular subject, but it was brought to my attention by a supporter and member of the chamber, and I started looking into it, and it's something I've never been a smoker, so it just wasn't in my reference, even though vaping is marketed as a substitute for cigarettes, so you assume it's supposed to be healthier. So when it was brought to my attention, this issue with vaping, illegal disposable vaping products, I looked into it and I learned a lot. Not only factual things, but also personal stories. When I started to talk to people and realize how much of this is a problem, I'm glad I've taken it up, and I'm out here trying to educate folks. It's not the only thing I'm doing, but it's a very important issue because, one, it directly impacts our young children. The marketing of illegal disposable vaping products, most of them are made overseas in China. And I'm not knocking China because it's China, but that's just where most of them are made. They're being marketed to our young people. Right. The colors, very colorful. They look like items that young people use a lot, like the USB, that holds all your information for your computer. Highlighters, uses bright colors. It uses flavors that the kids are into, fruity flavors and stuff. Clearly, it's marketed to our youth, and it's illegal. It actually is on the books that you cannot market to our youth because it was part of the, there was a settlement because they were sued, and part of the settlement, there was a law put in place that you can't market to the youth. Well, they're working around that law, and unfortunately, law enforcement, by and large, is not enforcing the law. And why is this a problem? Because there's nicotine that causes cancer and other issues in these vaping products. And according to a recent New York Times article, one vaping product, in particular, ELF, that's a new name that I'm hearing, ELF. One vaping product has the equivalent of 590 cigarettes.
Whoa!
Just one. just one. And it's a type of thing you see folks walking around and the puff is coming out. That's the thing about the cigarettes, because my parents unfortunately smoked, and both of them ended up dying from lung cancer.
Wow.
And they actually had long lives, considering they started when they were probably late teens, right? But both of them died from lung cancer, and I don't wish that on anyone. So nicotine, which is in those cigarettes, is in these disposable vaping products, and we assume that they're healthier, right? They were marketed as a substitute for cigarettes. They were marketed as if you want to get off cigarettes, you can use this instead of a cigarette and wean yourself off of cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, unscrupulous corporations have nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive product, and these kids are smoking, and it's causing lung issues in our children. It's not just nicotine, but nicotine is that addictive thing that leads to other issues.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get addicted, there are other chemicals in there, because remember, they're illegal, so they're not being regulated. So there's a lot more in these products than just nicotine. There are other chemicals and stuff in there, and our youth are being marketed, and it's become an epidemic. It's a silent epidemic because people aren't you just assume, I've been around folks, you don't smell the tobacco smell, obviously. Mm-hmm. You just see the little vapor come out, and you just assume it's healthy, and it's not. It's not. So it's become a thing for me, and especially once I learned the facts and just start talking to friends, start talking to elected officials, and some of who are personal friends, and telling me that they know of young people who are sick from this. And that was what really, really started driving me on this, to hear about. I'm not going to say it's a gateway, because I'm not a professional. I'm not a CDC expert, but I've heard the anecdotes, the personal stories where kids have started with the vape, then they went to other marijuana and so on, because nicotine is addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of made it a personal thing to start educating folks and getting the word out there, and we really do need to start paying attention to this.
Right. So Marilyn, I'm going to reference that New York Times article you sent, and this was published, for the record, November 6th of 2023, an article written by Callie Holterman. This article obviously depicts some stories of young people who were actually attracted to the allure of vaping, and they were attracted for a number of different reasons. They talked about the pretty colors, as you mentioned, the flavors, candy colored gradients, and pina colada and strawberry kiwi, and all these other things that are likened to candy, as we know. One person in this article mentioned that, throughout the use of the vapes, what was noticed, and she even mentions going through an elf bar a week, which is the elf that you were just talking about. And you said that is the equivalent of 590 cigarettes. That is just like mind blowing. She said that she noticed that her gums turned gray, because she was an intense user. Others talked about in this article that, pretty much it's, they look like toys. The packaging basically is what draws them in. And so the thing about what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that, when it comes down to the marketing of it all, and the fact that it appears to be, deliberately targeting a certain age group, it does sound like it's, unethical, and that there's, some implications that are far more reaching than, people really understand. Because as the question has come up in the chat, Dorothy Reeves says she watched teenagers going to the vape shops. Is that illegal? Is that type of thing being patrolled to that extent? Because it sounds like it's so widespread, it would be hard to patrol. So how, what have you learned about the controls on this thing?
There's no controls, because law enforcement is not enforcing. So when you go into those vape stores, now it's one thing to market to the adults. Okay, that's legal. I actually have started taking pictures when it draws my mind. So I believe, down in Bluffton, South Carolina, down in Beaufort County, and I saw a big sign, vapes here. So I went inside to look to see what it looked like. Those were very muted colors, grays, blues, very muted, clearly marketed to adults. Then I was in Florence for another event and getting gas at a convenience store. Bright colors. I went and took pictures, and I unfortunately can't. I have them on my phone. You know how it is when you have 500 pictures on your phone. I took pictures there. Bright colors. Talk about the fruity flavors. Clearly marketed to children. That's what's illegal. So that's convenience stores are problematic, and those vaping stores are problematic because when you see the bright colors, the flavors, that's illegal marketing to kids. But of course, they're going to deny it. But that is clearly marketing to the kids. That's the illegal part. That's where the FDA has said, do not market to youth. But law enforcement, it's low on the list, I guess, for law enforcement of things to be concerned about, but it should be a big concern. So yeah, your kids going in convenience stores, going into the vaping stores, should not be selling to kids.
Now,
But they get around it.
Yeah, some of those warnings are on cigarette packages, but do they have similar warnings on the vaping packages?
Yeah,
or even stronger?
Some of them do. And I think the New York Times article actually talks about that too, but it's still illegal. And that's one of the ways they're trying to say they're getting around it. Oh, we have warnings. We're not marketing to kids, but that's kind of performative, you know? It's kind of like a wink around the law. But yeah, some of them may have those warnings like cigarettes on them. But
I don't know how you could,
they know exactly what they're doing.
I don't know how it could be so illegal if they're allowed to sell them in stores, like gas station stores and stuff like that. Then
it's illegal for a certain age group.
For a certain age group, and if you don't hold them accountable, that's what's happening. The lack of accountability, and it's just proliferated. I believe one of the fact sheets I gave you, it was a 222% increase in sales.
There it is.
Yeah, 207% increase in sales from 2020 to 2022. That's incredible because they, in particular, started marketing to youth. They changed colors, bright fruit. And if you do not regulate, this is what happens. Yeah, you would think that it would not, but yeah. So I what I suggest is people call your law enforcement, call your school district. I have met with the Georgetown County School District. I'm willing to meet with others, and they're very interested in education. So a lot of education to our parents, to the youth about this needs to happen. So we're going to get organized to Georgetown County School District and start doing some educational things within the school. The school district, it's a real problem, and I know Georgetown definitely because I've spoken to them, and they know it's a problem, and they need help.
So, you've spoken with Georgetown County Schools, for example. Is it whenever the students enter the schools, are they not scanning for that kind of contraband? And if they are, can they legally take it from the student because it is considered a
Yeah, so I understand Georgetown did have a program where they were scanning. I don't know what's going on with it right now, but they did have a program where they were scanning. But once again, you got to think about budgeting and things like that. You can take things away, but it's become a problem. So
I haven't.
Can do.
Right. So I'm going to pull up this graphic that you also sent, Marilyn. That is a depiction of what some of the e-cigarettes could look like. And so if you look at this closely and you're familiar with the things that the cartoons that kids are exposed to now, young teens and that kind of thing, these kind of look like I'm not going to say the word, but it starts with the letter M.
Yeah.
And there's movies.
Yeah.
There's
That's
movies
the first thing I thought of when I saw them. I'm like, people are going to recognize this. And this is, look at the bright colors.
Absolutely. Especially if you look at this one. Yeah.
Character that everybody recognized. And see how slick they are. It's not the exact color, but it's colorful. You got one that's close to the color, but so they're not going to get sued, right? For copyright. And the flavors. Yeah. So it's pretty sad. I was shocked. I truly was. And it wasn't something that I thought about. I really, like most people, was like, that's people trying to get off of cigarettes. That's trying, just didn't think about it because I'm not a smoker. And then when I started getting educated and really realizing how it's impacting our kids, and y'all, it's not only the impact of their health, which we are deeply concerned about, it's what's not only happening right now, but the long-term health impacts.
Absolutely.
That's their lungs, your brains, and all of that. They don't know what that's going to look like now. So not only are we paying a price now, we're going to pay a price down the road.
Marilyn, let me read one of the things that I did some research on. One of the problems vaping is causing right now.
I'm going to drop off for a second, and I apologize. I'll be right back. And y'all keep talking, though. I'll be right back.
Well, one of them says lung scarring. That a chemical used in some of the flavoring that they use can cause bronchiolitis. That's something like they call it popcorn lung, and it obliterates and causes permanent scarring in your lungs. Also, organ damage in addition to your lungs, and nicotine and other substances in an e-liquid. So liquid is a great part of the mechanism of that vapor. So it can hurt your heart and brain. Okay, and it raises your blood pressure and narrows your arteries. Wow. So it's definitely associated with lung injury. So one can conclude almost that regular cigarettes may be better than vape. It's I don't want to make a comical thing out of this, but it's the things that are coming out of this that are being brought forth, and new revelations on vaping. They're mind blowing. Okay.
And to your point, if you are smoking a cigarette, at least it's tobacco rolled in paper. Hopefully it doesn't, I don't know if there's any chemicals or anything used to preserve the tobacco, if it's just straight tobacco or whatever. But, when it comes down to the vapes, the vape pens and the flavors and the liquids and all that stuff, we don't know what those chemicals are and, like you said, long-term impact on the body, or even short term. When she gave that statistic earlier, that one vape is the equivalent of 590 cigarettes. Let me put it into perspective for you.
That's mind blowing.
One box of cigarettes, I just pulled it up. One box of cigarettes has 20 sticks in it. 26 in it.
Right.
So in order for you to even get to 590, you basically have to smoke 30 packs of cigarettes. Imagine getting that in one vape. You have one vape pen that you're using, and it's mind blowing. It really is. So, the fact that it is targeting, the younger generation, the Gen Z, you have to think about too, back in the day, I can imagine that when tobacco companies or, the major tobacco company was marketing to users of tobacco, it was a very mature audience that they were after. You think about the Marlboro Man and, all of that. They always targeted that image of someone being, or the person who had the image of someone being, rough and tough and able to endure it or whatever. And then it became a little glamorous when they came out with like the Virginia Slims and, all of that, but still an adult audience. And if you think about marketing campaigns and plans back in the day, it was usually print ads. When TV came around, you probably had, a little bit on TV. You may have even had some on radio. still not the same mass appeal or reach as social media and the internet now. And so when you think about the fact that they're seeing these campaigns in the form of advertisements that are probably being, blasted across social media outlets, you can't even go to YouTube nowadays if you don't have a premium account and, see a video without there being some kind of advertising that pops up with millions of viewers. That's, millions of people being exposed to these messages. Young people, of course, are consuming the digital age like air. And so, digital and technological components. So, not only is it far reaching in terms of, I'm bringing Marilyn back on, in terms of, just the products that are now available and how they're being distributed, but even the marketing and the fact that the marketing has, such a long drive now as far as the power of marketing. It's not as simple as pulling a newspaper ad or pulling a TV ad or pulling a radio ad. When you have something that's viral and it's circulating, it's hard to put the reins on that, especially for young people. So,
yeah. And they have the algorithms now. So let's say you look up vaping, because I've been doing a lot in anticipation of this show. So now vaping ads are popping up because the algorithm is watching us and it sees our habits. And and so imagine with our impressionable children, and their brains are still not fully formed. And and I come from a marketing background, a journalism marketing background, and I, you kind of learn those things. And so the colors, they know exactly what they're doing with the colors, the flavors, and even where they sell them. Be careful, not only the vaping. Go to the vaping store, stand outside. What's the first thing you notice? Neon colors.
Neon colors.
You go to the clubs. Our youth go to the clubs, hopefully of age, and it's sexy to be smoking the vape. So you look at the shapes, right? It's easy to hold in your hand. You're in the club. It's sexy. That is all part of the marketing. Yeah. And Juul, Juul, was sued a few years ago, and they settled. And I know Georgetown's one school district they're looking for some funds to receive funds, and they're going to put towards education and other items to start educating the kids. So one thing I want folks to do is check with your local school district and see if they were part of that lawsuit. Not all school districts were. And see if there's money coming from that lawsuit, and what are they going to do with that funds? Are they going to put it towards education regarding these illegal disposable vaping items? And also call your school district, call your chair, Georgetown, Mr. Gaskins, shout out to him, and Superintendent Price met with me, and also school board member Lynn Ford for setting it up. Reach out to your school district. Reach out to your law enforcement and just let them know that you're deeply concerned. This is a real issue. And especially the marketing of, unfortunately, it shows the worst in marketing.
So Marilyn, what's being done? Like, what are the next steps in this campaign against illegal and unregulated disposable e-cigarettes? And what is the initiative, or is there any type of a cause that the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce has particularly taken up, more than just disseminating information? Are you working with some partners to make sure that you're a part of the fight, or what's going on?
Yeah, there is a coalition, and what we're trying to do, get folks to write letters to the editors, to the newspaper, some op-ed pieces. You can reach out to me. I can help you with that. If you're not a letter writer, we'll give you some points, like that one pager that you already showed. So we definitely want people to write letters to the editors. You can reach me at the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. Just go to our contact page on our website, put in your information, and I'll reach out to you. Also, as I already mentioned, call your school board, call your law enforcement. And if you reach out to me, next steps, we'll help you with some next steps. And I'll send the one pager to you. I'll get you some more information and where you need to go to get more information. So those are the next steps. It's one, raise awareness. And that takes letters to the editors, op-ed pieces. It takes reaching out to school board law enforcement, and also other law elected officials, your state legislative delegation. Reach out to them. Ask them to write letters.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, hold them accountable and ask your local legislative delegations to have them support law enforcement, tightening up on this law and enforcing it, the regulations.
Yeah, and it's clearly needed, because I just noticed the differences between the two. Regular tobacco cigarettes and then vaping. There are warnings, at least on the tobacco cigarette pack. It might say what it causes. It says cigarettes causes cancer. I mean, that's on the pack. Okay, but nothing of that sort on vaping or containers, right, or packs or anything. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't tell you how dangerous it is. At least on tobacco cigarettes, it says how. I mean, it's a dangerous warning, because it says warning: cigarettes may cause cancer.
Yeah. Cigarettes give you warnings, because what are they? They're regulated, right?
Yeah.
You're holding them accountable, and unfortunately, something that's marketed to adults to help adults wean from cigarettes and stuff. And those are actually, so there's a difference too. Illegal disposable vaping products. Disposable means the throwaway. There's a difference.
Right.
And then there's some that are refillable. That's not what we're talking about. That's what
Right.
adults mostly use. We're talking about the disposable ones. That's different because they're poorly constructed. They're using chemicals in them. Those are the ones that are the fruity flavors, the colorful ones. Those are the ones that tend to be marketed to kids.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow. Well, this was some excellent information tonight, Marilyn. We thank you so much. And I know it took some coordinating to get you on the show, because you are, you're always on skates. You're just moving around, doing things. But we do appreciate you taking the time to come in and share this information with us. And hopefully we can have you back in the future just to, give us an update on, any strides or legislative bills or anything that's passed that, will actually help to fight against the sales of this illegal and unregulated products. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I will keep you updated. I'm actually leaving Charleston to go home for my Energy Justice Coalition. There's a lot regarding energy, and April, I remember you and I having a conversation.
That's a new one.
Yes. She works on all of it.
April, we talked about 3 years ago about the holiday bill, your after Christmas electric bill that was extremely high.
It was through the roof.
Too, and it's upset even more because I think you had gone out of town for a week, and it was like, why is my bill this high?
You're right.
Yeah, and so I am part of a coalition that has come about. We have about 60 members now, different organizations, and we're addressing the energy burden because it really does fall on low income, fixed income folks, and it's a whole thing that really impacts our community, and we really need to pay attention to that. And the reason why is the chamber concerned? Because if you are concerned about paying your utility bill versus your prescription or whatever, or even getting food in the refrigerator, you're not building a business. You're not building generational wealth. That's a Chamber of Commerce issue. And as I tell people at the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce, we are a radical chamber. Traditionally, chambers are conservative. We are not conservative because we are about our people. Yeah. We are about building generational wealth, building businesses. But you can't do that if you're concerned about my electric bill this month was $900. And that makes no sense whatsoever.
No sense whatsoever. Yeah, you're right.
So, it is a real thing.
So we definitely need to have you back for the energy talk, and it's going to be pertinent, especially with the weather getting a little colder. The closer we get to Christmas in January, February, yeah, we'll need to have you back on for that for sure.
Oh, definitely. Y'all just reach out to me and let's make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You be safe tonight, and Merry Christmas to you. And we'll definitely talk soon. Yes.
Very good. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy Kwanzaa.
Absolutely. All right.
Good night.
Godspeed, Marilyn.
So I tell you, Brother Edward, great information about a topic that, it's in our line of sight, but we don't always think that it's a priority issue, and it's becoming more and more of a priority issue. So I'm glad that Marilyn is doing the work to create awareness, just like she said. And, I'm already geared up to hear about this energy talk because
absolutely.
With the cold weather and everybody burning their Christmas lights.
look, we might have her back on within a couple or 3 weeks.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, we needed to have her on before so she could tell you how to save money or what you can do to be mindful of it. But again, doing great work. So happy that she is, still pressing forward with all those initiatives. So, well, Brother Edward, I tell you, we are a little bit more than a week away from the Whittemore Alumni Association Holiday Gala. It is not this Saturday, next Saturday already. And
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, the 23rd.
I'm thinking it was this Saturday coming.
No, it is December 23rd. So you still have time to get your gala gear together, to get your dress or your tux or your suit or whatever it is you're going to wear, purple and gold if you want to represent. You don't have to. It will just look really nice in the room. I can tell you that the event committee with the Alumni Association is putting together the final touches on everything for the gala. And we're just really excited to end this year on a very high and very positive note to fulfill the vision and the plan that the late President Annis Austin Staley had. This gala isn't just a few months in the making. Ever since last year, this time, she talked about bringing the gala back and what needed to be done, and she selected this venue, thinking, let's make sure that we have someplace nice where people can be accommodated as well. And so the association members who've been working hard to pull together the gala will do their best to honor her vision to bring the gala back. And so we are definitely excited and just cannot wait. So I know you've got something special going on with the vintage room. Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's at the vintage room. This is the 23rd, the same day. Stay Bridges Suites. That's at 303 Fantasy Harbor Boulevard. That's just a few steps down from where the gala is going to be. Okay, not even a full block. I mean, you just walk down. You stay Bridges Hotel. We've secured a room there, and we got some stuff for you. Absolutely, it's for you. It's something that we've been wanting to display for a long time, and we call it vintage because it is vintage, and it is of a magnitude that we think that you're going to be very, very pleased with, and don't start getting teary-eyed because we're going to some stuff that you may even see some of your parents or grandparents involved in some photos, and we're going to be showing videos. Okay, so just stay tuned for that. But I remind you that it's going to be from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon before the big gala begins at 7 o'clock. This is just prepping you to get you prepared for the 7 o'clock event. And can't wait. Okay. So, and for those of you who weren't able to get tickets, Abel can comment on that, but maybe next year will be a bigger place. We don't know. But it was, I don't know what else to say. April, you can say.
Well, all I can say is that with this being the first Whittemore Dance, as it's traditionally called, since COVID, the last one that was held prior to COVID was actually on December 27th of 2019. And this is the first time in 4 years that there's been a gala. And so I think that, from the standpoint of the association, planning was more on the conservative side because, we just didn't know if people would return to the sense of, attending the Whittemore Gala. In all transparency, I think over the years, even prior to 2019, attendance had kind of dwindled. And, that kind of goes with anything. I mean, as your alums pass on or move on out of state or, otherwise, it was just really hard to maintain it, but it was still happening. And then COVID just totally stopped everything for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So we didn't know, how people would receive it and if we would be able to even, draw in a large crowd because there were so many holiday parties leading up to this particular day. And this event is actually the evening before Christmas Eve. That was the date that the late President Staley selected and the venue she selected. And so, when the tickets were available, we were shocked that we sold out in 16 days, over 200 tickets. And it's amazing. There will be some of the Whittemore Scholarship recipients from 2022 and 2023 will be in attendance. We have an evening of honors ceremony where we will acknowledge some of the people who were instrumental in keeping the foundation going over the past few years, and or the association going. And then there's dinner, full dinner, not finger foods. I'm talking dinner. So come ready to eat if you have a ticket. And then we're going to have dancing. And we're going to, I don't know, Brother Edward, do you dance?
I'm not saying.
Well, if I come and get you from your table, you're going to have to do something on the dance floor.
I'm going to have to do something.
You're going to have to do something. So it's just going to be a wonderful evening. Yeah. We will celebrate. It's the holidays, and everybody will be in their festive mood. And then, of course, fresh off of the vintage room over at Staybridge Suites, and so yeah, next year I'm assuming and looking forward to the fact that I'm sure the association will look for a bigger venue. We're hoping that the momentum and the excitement behind the association will continue. There are also some events that are going to be planned, and I know I'm speaking ahead of the plans, but I'll share this so that everybody will know that it isn't just about this one dance in December. All throughout this year, there was, a meet and greet this time last year, participation in a couple of parades, scholarship, fundraising for the organization and things like that. And so that was during a restructuring year. And because President Staley was new president, so, now the idea is, okay, we got to build on what was created or started back in at the beginning of 2022. And so, or to the 2021, 2022. So, it's going to be a wonderful evening. Hopefully you'll see some people that you haven't seen in quite a while. And I'm excited that there are more legacy members, meaning those of us whose parents or grandparents attended Whittemore. We were involved with the association this year, so there should be more of us present this year at the dance. And so it's just going to be a fantastic time. And then you could go home and spend time with your families for the remainder of the holiday. So all this is happening Saturday, December 23rd, 2023. Will be at 4 Points by Sheraton, which is the old Holiday Inn West, as people know it. But that hotel has been renovated. The lobby is beautiful. And, you'll see lots of purple and gold, plenty of opportunities for photos. Brother Edward, I don't know if you're going to be taking photos, but you typically are there taking, at major events, taking photos and things like that. So you may see Brother Edward kind of wearing two hats that night on the dance floor doing the electric slide and taking photos.
That's history. Right? That's going to be history. So April, we have a number of people coming in who getting rooms at the hotel. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know what's available still, but yes, hotel rooms were available for a special discounted rate at the 4 Points by Sheraton. You can go to the 4 Points by Sheraton website, and if you go to as a matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick. If you go to the 4 Points by Sheraton, well, actually, you can start by going to the Whittemore Alumni Association website, and I'm going to pull that up right now to show everyone. More than likely, there are still rooms available, which is great. And you can, get a night or two if you like. Yeah, and stay. And that way you're already on the beach. But whenever you click on events, if you like, or you can click on that image that was on the home page. What you'll see is information, and I'm going to actually change that graphic to say sold out because there are no more tickets available. But at the bottom here, it says need hotel accommodations for the weekend. Click reserve rooms. And if you click on reserve rooms, it takes you to the hotel's landing page for the Whittemore Alumni Association Holiday Gala. As you can see, our logo, the name of the organization, and then it tells you what availability is offered for the weekend of Friday, December 22nd through, of course, checkout will be Sunday the 24th. The room cost is only $89 per night. And so you could choose to stay one night, 2 nights, whatever you'd like. But the accommodations are available if you are coming in from out of town. So, you know, you may want to make it like an overnight stay or whatever. Come and enjoy the festivities that Saturday night and just stay at the hotel, make it convenient. But you can go there, and also on that page, if you'd rather call the hotel, you'll see the phone number at the bottom and the discount code that you can use whenever you call to let them know that you would like a room. So, yeah, we're excited. We want to thank everyone who purchased tables and ads and individual tickets for the gala. I promise you won't be disappointed. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody on the 23rd.
Absolutely. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we can wrap this up this evening, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do want to say this one more thing. Okay. I want to say one more thing. Now, one thing that we really are trying to push beyond the gala is membership in the Whittemore Alumni Association. Membership is only $25 for the year. And what it allows you to do is to attend the Whittemore Alumni Association meetings, which are the third Sunday of every month. You will be able to receive the exclusive link for Whittemore Alumni Association members so that you can listen to the planning meetings and possibly become more involved. We are actually getting ready to hold elections. There's a couple of openings now on the executive, within the executive committee. And we'll be hosting elections really, really soon. We may even have newly elected officers by the time we have our gala. I'm certain we should, and we may even make some announcements that evening. But we really want alums to get involved, to come and be more active and engaged in the planning. Whatever we do in terms of events that are related or connected to the association are all about sustaining the mission of the organization. So funds that are raised, we already know that we're providing financial options for our descendants of Whittemore alums who are planning to attend college, but we also need to be able to operate the association so that we can provide engagement activities to keep the alumni base intact. And that means the meet and greets and the reunions to keep the website up and going and other things, So give to the mission of the organization. And you can certainly do that if you go to that website. And I'm going to put the banner up one more time. If you go to the website and you want to give, basically what you can do is you can give online, or you can send in, your donation or whatever. We are a 501c3, and that means that your donation is tax deductible. And so that's another great reason, if you need to do that, we'd love to have donors who can do that and want to do that. But all of it goes to the mission of the organization to sustain it, to be able to provide scholarships later, and a host of other things. So we want to hear from the alums because we want to know what you all want. And we want to be able to provide, events and connectivity in that way. And so we have, of course, our current president and slate of officers who are, who've been, a part of this for the past couple of years. Again, we're going into election season now, Brother Edward, and getting ready to elect some new officers. So for 2024, hopefully there'll be some, wonderful things and a continuation of the tradition of this dance in the year to come. But it does require the positive involvement of alums and legacy members who want to see this association grow so that we can do some bigger things. You know,
what I'm envisioning, that you all will have such huge membership that it's going to require a platform like what we are now in order to have a meeting. Okay, okay, for everybody to attend the meeting. It will be, and you just send out the link, and all the members. I'm talking about hundreds. I'm just envisioning hundreds of members. Okay, I mean, with $25, you kind of expect something like that, right? Just $25.
Right, and I can see that because right now we if you are out of town and thinking, oh, I can't be a member, that's not the case. You can be out of town and be an officer. You can be out of town and be an active member of the association. We basically just lean into what you're capable of doing, even though you're out of town. Association meetings are currently virtual, but I believe that in 2024, there'll be more of a hybrid format because some people love meeting in person. So that means that if, locations will be identified where members who are local, if they want to meet at a determined location, they can. And there will also be a Zoom from that location. Yeah. So there's some things that, we're doing to make sure that everyone stays connected. I've been involved with the association for the past 2 years, came in with the late President Anna Alston Staley, and served under her. And it was, definitely a tremendous undertaking to help push the association into a new direction. My time as an officer has come to a close, and so I'm hoping that whoever comes in to not only fill the current position that I hold, but other positions that are now open, will just continue with the vision that has been set for the organization. And so there's so much that can be done, and there's no excuse, none whatsoever for being unsuccessful. The success is there if people are just willing to get in and be boots on the ground. And so, we're looking forward to it, Brother Edward. And so I'm going to be partying real hard December 23rd. So
look out.
More than one reason. The fact that, we got through 2 years of rebuilding and, was able to produce a great gala. And then also, I'll celebrate anyone who's coming in newly elected to take the reins and move forward, and it's going to be a great time.
All right.
Yeah.
So until next week, 7 p.m. Hopefully I think we have a guest on board. We just want to be firm on it. So we'll
right.
We don't want to break the chains right now. So
correct.
We'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a great evening, and we certainly look forward to having some information for you next week, because that's what this program is about.
Yes.
And so on behalf of my co-host, Miss April Garner Davis, this time.
That's right.
See my brother Kendrick. Okay.
Yes.
And myself. We thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Godspeed.
Yep.
Okay. God
willing. All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday. Exactly.
Same
yes.
Thing. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host, Edward McQueen and April Garner.